So here we're looking at the cosine rule. And like the sine rule, it's an extension um of the Pythagoras theorem and the trig ratios that we looked at. It extends to triangles that are non-right angled as well. And there's two formulas essentially. There's just similar to the sine rule. We can arrange the formula in a way. So the formula is the same, but we can arrange the formula in a way that allows us to try to find an unknown length if we want to find the length of an unknown side, or the degrees of an unknown angle if we want to find the size of an unknown angle. And we're going to look at some applications of that question. In some examples here. So for example, first question here, we have to work out the size of angle BAC. Now remember, with angles, we're always looking at the middle letter. So the middle letter is A here. So that means the angle we're looking at is this one that is corresponding or adjacent to the corner A or the vertex A. Okay, and you can see that from the information, this triangle, it's not a right angle triangle. And the information that we're given is three other sides. Okay, so when you're in an exam situation, it's not going to explicitly tell you whether you need to use cosine rule or sine rule. You're going to be given a triangle like this, and you're going to have to figure out based on the information that you have, what rule or what formula is going to be applicable. Okay. So in this case, we're using the cos rule. So the cos rule basically states that it's a squared plus b squared minus c squared over 2ab. All right. Now, since this is our angle here, our a and b, so our two numbers that we add together and the two numbers that are multiplied together in the denominator, sometimes students get a bit confused. They're like, we have three sides. How do I know which ones to put in the denominator? Well, the answer to that one would be your a and b, or your numbers here, or your numbers as your a squared plus b squared, they are always the sides that are adjacent to your angle. So you can see 5.2 is next to the angle A, and 7.3 is next to angle A, and 6.9 is actually opposite the angle. Okay, so side that is opposite, that always becomes side C, and the two sides that are close to the angle or adjacent to the angle, they become your A and B. And whichever one is A or B, that doesn't matter because we're adding and multiplying these two anyway. Currently, this is the one we're subtracting. So as long as you've got the two adjacent sides A and B and the opposite one is C, you're good. All right. It doesn't matter if this is A and this is B. You will still get the same answer. So you just put that in your calculator. So cos BAC is equal to 5.2 squared plus 7.3 squared minus 6.9 squared over 2.52 times 7.3. And as you can see, what I've done with my answers, I haven't rounded, right? Again, I've mentioned this before, especially in trigonometry, where you're dealing with a lot of irrational numbers. You want to make sure you're not rounding your answer early on, because it's going to affect your final answer. So what you'll do is you'll leave this in your answer, write your answer something like this, and then your actual angle is going to be cos inverse, whatever your calculator gave you in this part. So you're putting that directly in. So make sure you're saving that value in your calculator, and then you could just put cos inverse, and then there's a button that says ANS, which stands for answer, and that's just going to put in your last answer that you worked out, which is going to be the answer to this equation, and it's going to put that all directly into here, and that's going to give you your final answer, 64.47 degrees, two decimal places, as specified in the question. Okay, now another question here. We're looking at, this time we're going to be looking at the side, and there's also a bit more application involved because we're going to have to do some algebraic, some sort of algebraic calculation as well. So you can see it looks like a lot, but let me just go through it. So firstly, we're just going to be applying the formula. So we know the formula c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared minus 2ab times cos c. Okay, so then when you have the cos rule, you're most likely only going to have one angle that's given to you. And again, as I said in the previous question, your a and b are your adjacent sides. Okay, doesn't matter which one's a and which one's b as long as it's these two. And then your opposite side is c. Okay, so that means that root 73 squared is equal to x plus 2 squared plus 2x minus 3 squared minus 2 times x plus 2 times 2x minus 3 times cos 60. Okay, now cos 60 is actually just half. So basically we're doing 2 times half, so that cancels out. Root 73 squared is just 73. And now we're just left with this, right? We're left with some quadratic expressions that we're going to expand and then simplify. Okay? So x plus 2 squared, if you expand that, that is what I'm going to do is I'm going to just color code each of these ones so we know which part is which. So let's highlight these ones. So the part for x plus 2 squared, that's here. X plus 2 squared is equal to x squared plus 4x plus 4. We use a different color for the next one. So 2x minus 3 squared. Oops, that's a bit too much. Let's get rid of that. Okay, 2x minus 3 squared is 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. And then last part is x plus 2 times 2x minus 3. That's this thing here. 2x squared minus 3x plus 4x minus 6. Okay, now we're going to expand everything again. So we're going to expand this bracket here. That becomes minus 2x squared. Minus times minus 3x is plus 3x. Minus times plus 4x is minus 4x. And minus minus 6 is plus 6. And then I brought the 73 to this side of the equation as well. So we've got everything on the left-hand side. Now, if we add up all the like terms together, we've got an x squared here, plus 4x squared minus 2x squared, which gives us 3x squared. Okay, we've got 4x minus 12x plus 3x minus 4x, which gives us 9x. And we've got 4 plus 9 and minus 73, which gives us negative 58. And then using the quadratic formula, we get these two solutions. However, since we're looking at a length here, and the length cannot be negative, the answer has to be 6.15, correct or true decimal places. So a bit of calculation involved with that one. This is something you could get at the end of your exam. But again, it's just an application of the Cosine Rule, requiring you to use some basic quadratic factorization and expansion skills that you would have learned in year 9 and 10 as well. Okay? Now, classic trigonometry, obviously you're going to have word problems as well. So obviously we have to go through a word problem. So we've got 3 landmarks, P, Q, and R. So obviously, 3 landmarks is going to form a triangle. Okay? Already start, get your brain juices flowing. We've got some distance here. R is 8.7 kilometers from P, and 9.3 kilometers from Q, and that we've got an angle as well. Now, obviously, we're going to draw a diagram and find the distance between P and Q. Okay? So obviously, in this question, they've actually told you to draw a diagram, but regardless of whether they tell you or not, guys, if you're not drawing a diagram in a question like this, you are committing suicide. Okay? You must. It is in any maths word problem, especially in trigonometry, where applicable, you must draw a diagram. Okay? It's a given. Okay, so we obviously got 3 landmarks. We've got our P, Q, R. We know the distance from P and R is 8.7 kilometers, which I've shown here. And the distance between P and Q is 9.3 kilometers, which I've shown here. And that PRQ is 79 degrees and 32 minutes. Now I'm going to draw a diagram, and from this information, we're going to find X. So again, we have an angle. We have the 2 adjacent sides, and we just need to find the opposite side. Okay? So that's going to be our, remember there's 2 formulas, the length formula for the cos and for the cos rule and the angle formula for the cos rule. So obviously in this one we're finding a length. So we're going to be using the length formula. So dq squared or x squared is going to be equal to 8.7 squared, which is A, plus 9.3 squared minus 2 times 8.7 times 9.3 times cos of this. Okay? So then PQ by itself is just going to be square root of all of this, which I'm showing here. Okay, so this is a pretty simple question. All you have to do is put this all in a calculator, and you'll get this as your answer, 11.5 kilometers. Okay, so really crucial concept, guys. You will get a lot of these questions in your exams. These word problems, that algebraic expression, your teachers are feeling nasty, they might put that one in there as well. But again, like the sine rule, there's just 2 applications of it. And in future videos, what I'll do is I'll do some trigonometry test review questions, or we get a mix of sine rule, cosine rule, trig ratios, Pythagoras theorem, just so you guys can build that skill of knowing which rule to use where, and finding out based on the information you have what we need to solve and how we can solve that. Okay.